Stranger Things 3 is without a doubt the big release for July, but there's plenty more to look forward to. Here's a look at everything good coming to Netflix in July 2019, starting with the Netflix originals. History buffs aren't the only audience for Netflix's upcoming The Last Czars. The series will combine documentary-style information plugs with dramatic reenactments to trace the history of Tsar Nicholas II, Russia's last emperor. Let's put it this way: if your only knowledge of the Romanovs, the February Revolution, and Rasputin comes from watching Anastasia as a kid, get ready for a whole new world of insight into the revolution that brought the Romanov dynasty to its knees. Tune in for the entire series when it arrives on July 3rd. There probably isn't a single person watching this who needs a recap of Stranger Things. Netflix's throwback horror fantasy series took the streaming world by storm in 2016, then upped the insanity with Season 2 in 2017. It's hard to believe that nearly 2 years have passed since we last saw Eleven and her friends battle the forces of the Upside Down, but it looks like the wait was more than worth it. Stranger Things 3 sees the kids a little older and hopefully a little wiser, as their hometown of Hawkins, Indiana is once again threatened by otherworldly beasts. Take a look when Stranger Things 3 arrives on July 4th. Don't let the subtitles turn you off to Cities of Last Things. If you're a fan of gritty psychological thrillers like Memento or Jacob's Ladder, you'll have a good time watching this dystopian Taiwanese film. Told in reverse chronological order, the story follows a depressed ex-cop whose life is on a downward spiral. Beginning with one shocking act, City of Last Things then backtracks over the 3 days leading up to his fateful decision. Look for it to hit Netflix on July 11th. Anthony Mackie takes the lead in Point Blank as a nurse on the hunt for the criminals who kidnapped his pregnant wife. To bring the thugs to justice, he'll have to team up with the suspect of a murder investigation, played by Frank Grillo, and descend into the criminal underworld.
Where are you going? I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
Point Blank is a remake of the 2011 French thriller of the same name, and Netflix couldn't have picked a better source for their film. The original garnered a 91% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics praising the sharp action and furious pace. Look for Point Blank to land on Netflix on July 12th. How do you give audiences a fresh take on the age-old Frankenstein story? Easy. You do whatever the hell Netflix is doing with Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein. Not only is that a tongue twister of a title, it also looks like a brain twister of a story. Stranger Things' David Harbour stars in this short mockumentary as a man who's digging into his father's past to uncover secrets about an old Frankenstein-themed play. What does it all mean? We'll have to wait until July 16th to find out, when Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein shows up on Netflix. Secret Obsession centers on a woman named Jennifer, played by the Social Network's Brenda Song, who wakes up to a head full of amnesia and a husband who may be keeping dangerous secrets from her. Mike Vogel co-stars as Jennifer's husband, Russell. Netflix has so far only teased the upcoming film, but all signs point to a tense, edge-of-your-seat thriller. Take a look on July 18th. If you're one of the avid watchers of La Casa de Papel, or Money Heist, you're no doubt pumped about the series' return. According to Deadline, it's the streaming service's most popular non-English language series, and if you've ever given it a chance, you know that it's worth the hype. Even if you haven't tried it, you might still recognize it as the one with all the people in masks and red jumpsuits. Without giving too much away, the show basically involves an elaborate heist on the Spanish Royal Mint. Originally slated as a limited series in Spain, Netflix commissioned a third part in early 2018, most likely due to the overwhelming popularity of the series. If this is your first run-in with Money Heist, you still have plenty of time to catch up before Part 3 arrives on July 19th. We're not entirely sure what to expect with this upcoming sci-fi series, but hopefully Another Life turns out just as good as it looks. Katie Sackhoff stars as an astronaut who's leading a crew into space to check out a mysterious alien artifact. Another Life comes from creator Aaron Martin, who also created Netflix's horror series Slasher, another show worth checking out for horror fans. Take a look at Another Life when the first season arrives on July 25th. Fans who have followed Orange is the New Black for 6 seasons are surely getting excited about the upcoming series finale. Season 7 sees Piper out of prison and trying to cope with her life in the outside world, but finding it tougher than she expected. Much of the cast has come forward to shed a light on their feelings about the series' end, with most conceding that it's a bittersweet finale. Tune in for the final season of Orange is the New Black when it premieres on July 26th. Netflix is closing out the month with The Red Sea Diving Resort, a political action thriller starring Chris Evans as the leader of a team working to get Ethiopian refugees to safety. According to BBC, the premise is based on a real-life resort in Sudan that was set up by Mossad agents in the 80s. It's an intriguing story, and we can't wait to see what Chris Evans does with the role. Look for it on July 31st. That covers all the best new Netflix originals for July. Let's pivot now to check out the rest of the films heading our way. Netflix is clearly focusing the month on its original films and series, and while there's plenty to look forward to there aren't a lot of licensed genre films to look forward to. Action is taking a real hit, with only 4 additions in July, all of which arrive on the 1st. Fortunately, they're all worth a watch, even if it's a rewatch. 1989's Roadhouse is showing up right beside 2001's Swordfish, 2010's The Book of Eli, and 2005's offbeat fantasy adventure comedy The Brothers Grimm. Similarly, there are only 3 new additions in the thriller genre. Look for 2006's Mean Dreams, which marks Bill Paxton's final film role. Mean Dreams is a dramatic thriller about a boy named Jonas who sees his father, a corrupt police officer, steal a satchel of drug money. Jonas takes the money and leaves with his girlfriend looking for a better life, but it isn't long before his own father begins hunting him down. You can catch Mean Dreams on July 1st, along with everyone's favorite shaky monster movie Cloverfield and Scream 3.
It's your turn to scream.
On the drama front, Netflix is adding some of the more obscure earlier Martin Scorsese films, including 1973's Mean Streets, 1974's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and 1967's Who's That Knocking at My Door. All of those arrive on July 1st. Other additions on the 1st of the month include Oscar winners Rain Man and Philadelphia, with 2011's The Iron Lady coming on the 6th. Finally, close out the month with Quentin Tarantino's World War II opus Inglourious Basterds on the 22nd. Notable comedy additions include both Caddyshack films, The Hangover, and the 2 Pink Panther reboot films, if you're into that kind of thing. Those all show up on the 1st. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite Netflix shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.